Have you guys ever played a MOBA before? Well, I'm assuming you have. You played either Dota or maybe even League of Legends. Well, today we're going to be talking about the brand new MOBA that is being released by Tencent that is backing off of the Pokemon franchise. Today we're going to be talking about one of the worst anticipated games ever, but might actually be worth it. We're talking about Pokemon Unite. What is up, guys? It's your boy Rev, Revelation Gaming as you know me, and today I'm ready to talk to you guys and answer the question, is Pokemon Unite worth your time? Let's get into it. Well, first off, let's go ahead and just talk about what really Pokemon Unite is. Pokemon Unite is a Pokemon MOBA. A Pokemon battle game where it's mostly 5v5s as the main game mode. There are other game modes you guys could be expecting in the game. And, you're basically trying to score points, defend your enemies, basic MOBA stuff. Nothing too advanced here when it comes to it. But you guys might be thinking, well, this is, a game that's only going to be available on Nintendo Switch and available on mobile. So is this game really going to be worth my time to play, or is this just another cash grab, something that, the Pokemon company tries to, reach for so they can get even more money than they get from, the actual successful video game franchise? Well, today I'm actually in for a little bit of a shock, a little bit of surprise for you guys. So Pokemon Unite recently had a beta for Japan. It was very short. It was only a 2-day weekend beta, and I actually had the honor of being able to play it thanks to a friend. And I didn't get too many hours of the game as well as I really wanted to, but I was able to make sure that I have everything ready essentially for this review slash kind of overlooking, and make sure that I get everything in insights. So everything that is currently in Pokemon Unite, funny enough, I actually had a video about a year back when it actually got announced about what Pokemon Unite needed to be a good MOBA, what it needed to actually be able to compete with League of Legends or Dota. And surprisingly enough, most of the stuff that I complained about in that video that it needed, this game got. It has customization not only for your actual trainer, it has customization for your Pokemon. There are multiple maps, different game modes. There's a battle pass, which some people will be happy, some people won't. There's obviously player levels. There's way more in-depth gameplay than I thought there would be. I thought the game would be very linear and that would give you very limited options. The game doesn't do that. I'm going to be explaining all that in a little bit of a second. But there's just so much that this game actually has that's filled with stuff. You might be thinking, well, is that enough reason for me to play? Is that enough reason for me to want to get into it? Maybe. The real choice is what I'm about to show you. So in this video, guys, I'm going to be using another video from a smaller YouTuber on the side named Super Teeds. This is a YouTuber who I recently came into contact with just by watching her videos, and I saw that she was making Unite videos because she's a mobile player, and they're very informative and very, very good videos. Overall, I'm definitely going to highly recommend it. I'm using small clips just from her main Unite beginner guide video. So if you guys are really looking to get into this game, looking to learn even more about it than what I'm going to be telling you in this video, go on ahead, go over to that video. There's going to be a link in the description. Obviously, I'm not going to be using the full video in this at all. Go watch her video. It's really, 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 really good. I highly recommend it, and it goes into so much more depth about the gameplay and everything. So yeah, I'm going to be using some clips to explain certain things because it's going to be easier for her to do it than me, because I feel like she does it better in general, but just overall to give you guys my thoughts. So first off, let's go on ahead and just talk a little bit about the actual Pokemon themselves. How do you think they were going to play in this game? How they ended up being? One, I just want to go ahead and say this game gives you a lot of options for Pokemon, which was not something I didn't really think that it was going to do. Originally, when this game came out, the way how it looked very set. It looked very standard. It looked like you were just going to have certain Pokemon, they were going to do certain things, they were going to hit certain enemies. That was all you're going to do. You're going to level up, you're just going to get slightly stronger. That's it. The game surprised me. It gave you a lot more options. It essentially gives you options to set up on different moves that you can learn. You still will always have, I believe, the same ult counting on which Pokemon you pick, as well as also when you evolve and stuff. But your actual moves that you use in battle, you can choose which route you want to go to. It gives you multiple options to choose between moves, which you guys might be thinking, what do you mean it gives me multiple options? Well, you'll have a base move, and then you'll have kind of a movement move. So you have like a move that really does damage, and then either a move that gives you a little bit of movement, that kind of rushes or kind of guards away. You have those type of moves, and they allow you, while you're leveling up, which when you level up in this MOBA, you just go around, you kill wild Pokemon, as well as also killing players. and you get these points, and you put these points in these rings, and that's how you kind of get in the game. But the more you level up, which is a separate level you get by killing certain Pokemon and certain players, the more you level up, the more moves and stuff you learn. So with the more moves and stuff you learn, the more you can change the way how you play the game, and it just makes this MOBA like a million times better. I cannot say this enough, that it makes it a million times better. It makes it to where you could choose different options depending on how the game's going. It also allows you to allow your team to have better support options or to have better buff options so that you could just straight up rush the enemy. It just allows for so much to do, as well as just a lot of freaking amazing animations that can be used on different Pokemon and how they can be played differently. I think it's really, really unique, and I think it was just an excellent option to do. It allows for more play styles. So this was already something that was super positive going into the game, and the fact that it was available on every single Pokemon was also really cool, and it wasn't just like, oh, maybe it's limited to this or it's limited to that. It's limited to the entire roster, which is cool. Which is why I'm also getting into the point of also extra Pokemon is we have a huge roster of Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to either try to label it off on screen or I'm just going to quickly list it off about all the Pokemon that are supposed to be in this game, which are Absol, Alolan Ninetales, Blastoise, Charizard, Cinderace, Cramorant, Crustle, Eldegoss, Garchomp, Gardevoir, Gengar, Greninja, Lucario, Machamp, Mr. Mime, Pikachu, Slowbro, Snorlax, Talonflame, Venusaur, and Wigglytuff. Those are currently all the Pokemon that have currently been available within the game, except the fact that Blastoise and Gardevoir actually did not show up in the beta. They were not unlockable in the beta from what I saw and from what I played. They just weren't there. So I think they are either saving those two for the official release, or they could be potentially even released further on down the line. So it was really weird that they were kind of out of it, as well as also Zeraora from a really, really, really old beta of the game was also another playable Pokemon that was in the roster. Currently was not in the beta, and all of a sudden has, I don't even think he's in the files of the game anymore. They could have potentially taken him out. They could be reworking him. He could be released in the full game. He could be released shortly after the game fully comes out as a brand new character. That could have came later. I don't know what's going on with Zeraora, but hopefully he comes back because I thought he was a really, really cool pick as well of Pokemon that you could do. Also, with Pokemon, each Pokemon is kind of set into different positions, different stats, like what they should be doing, you know. Mainly, it's like 5 different types. You have your speedster types, which are Pokemon that rush in, get a lot of damage, have good movement options, get you points very quickly. You have your attackers, which are basically just all DPS. They're all throwing out damage, so they're doing as much as they possibly can to just pinpoint, destroy Pokemon and the enemies. But you know, there might be a little bit on the frailer side. You know, they might not be as fast, but they're mostly there for damage. You have your defenders, which are the bulky Pokemon. They're supposed to be taking your hits. They're supposed to be giving you stuns. You know, just helping you out. Huge Pokemon like this, you know, there's Snorlax, what we're expecting to be Blastoise, there's Crustle, really good defenders. There's also AllRounders, which are kind of a mixture of attack and movement, so they can kind of attack, they can dish out a lot of damage, but they can also slightly take it. Really good example of this is Charizard in the game. He really functions really well as an all-rounder if people are looking to play him. And then after that, obviously, you're going to have a support characters, which there are some decent supports in this game. Eldegoss and like Wigglytuff are support characters. They give buffs, they heal, those type of things. And you know, it's really cool to see. I'm glad that it's not just you pick your character and you beat it up, because one of the things that was really worrisome about this game was whether or not the game was actually going to have a lot of strategy to it, whether it was going to be able to build off of it, or was this just going to be a cash grab where you just fight Pokemon, because there is no type effectiveness. So that took out a little bit of element of strategy within the game, but then they added a lot more elements of strategy with a lot of the other things that we bring up a little bit later. So yeah, just really, 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 really awesome to see. A lot of work, a lot of stuff has just been going into this, and it ended up actually being a lot more fun than I expected it to. Each of the Pokemon does feel unique. They each have a lot of unique animations, though one problem I am going to go ahead and state here is some of the animations for certain things do look hella stiff. So definitely got to watch out for that. But, you know, hopefully maybe over time they'll be banged out, maybe even before the official release, but I doubt it because it's like right around the corner. So, you know, maybe some of those stiff animations could be worked on. But overall, the game actually felt fluent. And this is something else that I also wanted to go ahead and bring up, because you guys might also be saying, well, in the trailer, it was running at like 80 million ping and everything was disgusting, everything was ugh. I live in the US. I was currently playing the Japanese beta, and the gameplay you guys are watching is not my own gameplay. I do want to go ahead and reiterate that. But I was playing the Japanese beta. I had barely any lag, and I was not connected to a LAN port. I had little to no lag, and this was a Japanese beta. On the Switch port, at least, the Wi-Fi connection between animations of Pokemon, how you move, how everything functions, is very, very smooth. I do have to give the game that for Switch. There are still stuttering points, there are still points where you're going to have lag, but that all counts on your internet connection. So, if you guys don't have great internet connection, maybe you want to try wiring up your Switch for this, at least for when it starts, and when you play on MOBA, or mobile, sorry, it will hopefully get better for you all. Maybe, possibly. Do not know, but for my personal connection and how I played the game, especially from a beta that was from a different region, different country entirely, it ran smooth, it ran great, no complaints here at all about the connection. So that was something really, really positive. A little bit of a side note though from the characters. But yeah, so all characters, they felt unique, they had options, they have a decent roster of Pokemon, so you're not always going to be fighting the same thing. There's different team comps that work really well. So overall, very positive. Everything that I've just stated was very positive. I do have to say that it was just extremely positive. Another thing you guys do have to be worried though, before picking your characters, and what you have to do is you also get the availability of 2 separate type of item slots. You have your battle items, and then you have your held items. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of the clip from, yet again, YouTuber I said before, Super Teeds. They're hopefully going to be explaining those item differences for you guys right now, so you guys can just tell that, because they're going to explain it way better than I ever could. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly play that.
Items and battle items. I have a video going through all the specific stats of items and battle items, which will be linked here and down below, but here's a general overview of what they do. So items can be equipped before a match. Items grant immediate bonus stats as well as passive stats that can activate during certain situations. You can level up your items up to level 30 and purchase more items from the shop. At trainer level 10, you can equip up to 3 items. Battle items. These can be equipped before a match, and these items are manually used during battle. It's almost like another move basically. You unlock new battle items.
Alrighty, now that you guys have seen that clip, hopefully, that explained a lot about the differences between the held items and the battle items, and how you could do that. And I just want to say, that brings so much more life to the game. It adds so many more options and different things you could do, because you can run certain Pokemon with different setups, and it just feels amazing. And it allows for such just genuinely good team comp that you could do if you're playing with a competent team. One of the other things that I wanted to go ahead and move out from that section of the video, from the characters, let's go ahead and move on from that for a second, is we get into another section that I complained with on my older video yet again, and that was essentially on the point of, is there going to be multiple maps, multiple different types of Pokemon you can kill in the wild, as well as also having multiple different, just types of how the roster goes up against each other. Different matchups, essentially. Moving forward, all the Pokemon that you can essentially kill in the wild do spawn repeatedly. They're essentially always the same Pokemon. You barely ever get any variety. It's mostly just normal types like Apom or Lillipup. Smaller ones like that, you have your Bouffalants and you have your Ludicolo's. Those are like Pokemon that are a little bit harder to kill, as well as Audino. They're a little bit harder to kill, but you get more points for killing them. Same thing I think with Corphish, as well as there's one other one. It's not coming to my head right now. Combi and Vespiquen. That was Pokemon that came to my mind. You could kill those. They all give you a set amount of points that you're going to be getting through the game. Actually, by playing, and that changes. Counting on, I guess, which side you're on technically for the main game mode. Now, there are multiple maps in the game, but currently in the main game mode, I do believe you're only on one map. The other maps are used for other game modes, so if you don't want to play in those other game modes and you want to go ahead and play in just the main game mode, you're mostly going to be sticking to one map, which is kind of unfortunate, but at least the other maps are still there as an option for the other game modes. So hey, that, changes slightly on the position of where you're going to be fighting those wild Pokemon, but those wild Pokemon do not change drastically. And in the original game, I wanted there to be multiple different Pokemon, so they still have kind of the same function. Overall, after playing it, that didn't bother me too much, seeing the same Pokemon over and over and over again. It was okay. Could have been better, but overall, not something I would complain about or say was an exact negative, because overall, I just think the game, for the features that they give you, and the customization options that they give you for just how you could play, it kind of overbalances that. It oversets that by a lot. So definitely something to look into, and maybe in the future updates we'll have different Pokemon. But overall, that wasn't a thing, but not exactly a negative. Was pretty good still either way. And most matchups in the game do feel a little bit rough. I do have to say that sometimes. Certain Pokemon do specialize, yet again, like I said before, with the class type being, either attackers, defenders, supporters, speedsters, and all-rounders. Certain classes do feel maybe a little bit more overpowered in this game than others. I didn't feel like there was ever really a pay-to-win or like type of just straight-up busted character type thing, but there are definitely characters that are a lot better than other characters. When the game fully releases and everything comes out, I'm going to be trying to make a tier list guide to see which characters are mostly the best ones you should play, as well as maybe set them into categories counting on what type of character they are. But that's for a different video. But for this video, I do have to say certain characters do feel better than others. Maybe we'll have some balance tweaks in between, updates after release, hopefully, so we can get certain characters to feel better. They still gave you multiple options to play, and certain characters can still deal a lot of damage or get really good healing or be a really, really good defender. But overall, I do think that maybe some decent balancing could be needed to make the actual matchups for each character actually function a little bit better. But overall, combat still felt good. It just feels like certain characters should probably be toned up a bit. Some characters should be toned down a bit. Balance workings. But we'll have to see that when the game fully releases. Now, one other thing we're going to go ahead and move into besides just the wild Pokemon is these type of boss Pokemon that spawn at the map. Now, yet again, going to use just one more clip from the Super Teeds video. Going to go ahead and explain those to you because there's 3 different bosses, essentially. There's Dreadnought, there is Rotom, and there is Zapdos. And they work in 3 different ways. And I'm also hoping to see maybe later on in the game they have similar functions, but maybe with different Pokemon. Going to go ahead and show you guys that little clip of that video there so you guys can go ahead and check that out as well. Just so you guys have a full understanding of what that is. Because yet again, she could explain it way better than me. But yeah, you do have to watch out for these 3 in the game, and I will have my opinions on these after you guys see this clip. So here's the clip.
Zapdos, who spawns in the middle of the map at the last 2 minutes of the game. Defeating Zapdos will destroy the enemy goal zone for 30 seconds. This means you can score AOS energy points into the goals without a wait time. Rotom. Rotom spawns after 3 minutes of the match in the top lane. When defeated, Rotom will move towards the enemy goal zone, and upon reaching it, will instantly score points for you. However, it can also be taken down. Lastly, Dreadnought. Dreadnought spawns in the bottom lane. It will grant extra experience points and a temporary shield to the team.
Alrighty, so after that clip, that explains how those work and how they want to do. I do see all 3 of these Pokemon being from the top lane to the bottom lane to the center lane, obviously. I see them as... they're not exactly gimmicks, to say. They appear at certain times during the match, and they do different things. It counts on your strategy on which one you want to go for. I do believe, though, that it is a little bit too easy to go for Dreadnought and Rotom compared to Zapdos. And I do feel like maybe a little bit after a while, counting on what the top strategy for the game is going to be, including team comp, going straight for Zapdos might be a very solid strategy, just because of how OP it could be if you actually do defeat Zapdos. So I do have to say, I don't know if I totally love the way how they handled those 3. Those 3 alone, counting on how well you're doing in a match or how bad you're doing in a match, could potentially just completely decide the entire match, which is not something I like per se, but not something that is totally incredibly busted. So yeah, I think it needs some tweaking. Is it the worst thing in the world? No. But is it something that definitely needs tweaking? Yes. I do think maybe that, as well as also I'd like to see other options. Maybe switch those bot Pokemon around. Maybe give Articuno and, Moltres some options instead of Zapdos. Just saying, more options is always a good thing. But, Yeah, so I did have my opinions on those. Those could be a deal breaker for certain people because they could literally depict a match, counting on if the other team is doing like the same, you're doing the same, they get that, it's just over. You like the match, like you're not winning. So yeah, those could be a little bit game defying, and I kind of hope they get toned down a little bit in the actual game themselves. But hey, it is what it is. So yeah, that was mostly what I wanted to talk about for a lot of the stuff that I had in my previous video. If you guys have not seen that previous video, you guys want to go watch that just to get some context. It will also be a link in the description or at the end of the video. So yeah, go check that out. But yeah, one more thing I want to get into is character customization, as well as Pokemon customization. So you have outfits for your actual character, and you have outfits for your actual Pokemon. These are fire. I love them. So happy they did this, and because that was one of the things that I complained about, because I was really wondering how this game was going to make money, being off of a free-to-play system, and you having to slowly unlock Pokemon as well as buy these outfits for your Pokemon and your character is amazing. I love them. I think a lot of the character designs and things that they've brought up in the game looks really, really, really good. It gives you a lot of different options to do, even that's including skin tone, just certain Pokemon you're playing. It's a lot of really cool options. Really something you guys should look into. It's really cool. And yeah, so definitely give that a try. It's probably one of the most positive things about the game. They are a little bit expensive though, so I do have to say, obviously, but the game is free to play, so it does have to make its own money. So I understand that to certain extents. But yeah, customization, hecka good. Really happy with how it ended up in this game. Maybe it turned down the price a little bit, but hey, still gotta make some money. So, overall, from what I've talked about in this game, it's essentially a lot of what I thought it needed to be good. And another thing that's really, really, really positive for me is they have a lot of for fun game modes, but they also have ranked. Thank God they have ranked, because this will allow you to actually have competent team members, as well as they also have a Discord. Try to leave a link in the description for it. But you'll also be able to have a lot of competent team members. You will actually be able to run with strategy. It's not just going to be spamming buttons. It's not just going to be blah, blah, blah. They have ranked. You can actually build your way up, and you can actually prove you're a good player. Really happy this is amazing. It just makes the game have so much more depth and gives it a lot of what it's meaning. So, overall, after everything I've talked about in this video, a little bit of a long one, is Pokemon Unite really worth your time? Well, Pokemon Unite is overall a really good MOBA. It needs some balancing. It needs some solidity to make it better, as well as also another problem with this game that I didn't bring up earlier, but I am going to bring up now, is the fact that you can't actually see the total score during a match. You can see like certain scores during certain points, but you can't see your actual total score of your team or the enemy team. I do think that's a little bit bad. I really wish that I could see at all times, hey, we're doing really bad, we need to pick up on this, or hey, we're doing really good, let's keep this momentum going. You can't really see that during the match, and I think that's to try to not encourage people to surrender as much if they're losing matches or if they're doing stuff, to just kind of quit. I think that's what that's for. I don't think it's a good compromise in my opinion. I think it makes a lot of people more blind. Also, the 10-minute timer on each match is very good. I think the 10-minute timer works fine. That way that you're not going to be overstepping your boundaries on, how you're going to be playing. You're not going to be spending 30 minutes on a match like you can be on certain other things. You're going to be spending those 10 minutes. You're getting in, you're getting out. You're doing that. But when it comes to actually the amount of points that you can see at certain times to see what you need to do better, maybe that needs to be visual. That is a problem I still see in the game. It could definitely be worked on. But yeah. But yet again, like I was saying earlier, if you really want to see if Pokemon Unite is worth your time, if you've played MOBAs before, is Pokemon Unite just worth your time in general? I'd say yes. I really think for a Nintendo Switch MOBA, especially if you own a Nintendo Switch and you never played a MOBA before on a Nintendo Switch, this game is for you. It has great combat, really nice characters, decent animations, it has ranked mode, it has decent online, and it's just good. It's overall just a good game. I can say that it does get repetitive a little bit, but that's kind of the same thing with all MOBAs. If you want to push it to a new extreme, a new level, and you want to get more in-depth with everything that you're doing, obviously you can go join that Discord like I said before. You could get those people who are at those higher levels eventually when the game fully comes out, and you could just come up with brand new team strategies and just have a bunch of fun with this game. It allows for a bunch of different options, and it is way better than anything that I really expected it would ever be, because I really thought this would be a cash grab, and luckily enough, it is not. It is a decent game, and it's actually really worth a try. So, if you guys are wondering if Pokemon Unite is worth your time, yes it is. Alright, well, that's all I got for this video, guys. Hope you all really enjoyed it. Hopefully I also get to see you guys on my next one. And yeah, I'm Revo, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.